All right, guys, we're back on Soak It Up. I'm back with Amy Brandenburg. I'm so excited. If you guys haven't seen episode 16 of season one, Amy Brandenburg appeared on that episode, and we got to talk a lot about the power of positive thinking and how that can affect people. I think, honestly, Amy, that was one of my favorite episodes that I've ever done so far. Like, I rewatched it this morning too because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm doing another episode with Amy. I got to
Yeah.
rewatch that episode so that it's like fresh in my mind. And I really enjoy listening to that one. Like
Oh
it
yeah.
would it would be one that I would pull up like every now and again, just to listen to because I love that topic, the power of positive thinking. But today, Amy has some super exciting news, which I'm really, really excited about sharing, and I'm sure she is too. Amy, do you want to give the news?
Yeah, I can. So, in terms of my Cutco journey, last time we spoke, I was exploring my options of management, and I
Yep.
finally chose to do a district manager opportunity here with Cutco. And what that is I run my own business, my own office full time. It's a career option. I decided to pursue this full time. I'm in love with what I do. So, and I moved from Cincinnati to Lexington. So, a huge move, huge things happen. So I'm just that's my news. So
Yeah, how was it moving? Was that your childhood home that you just moved out of?
yes, I've never moved before.
Oh my goodness.
So I lived in a small town in Cincinnati called Ross, and I've always lived there. I'm 20, so 20 years I lived there, and I just decided, you know what, hey, I'm gonna get out of my comfort zone, get super uncomfortable, move to a city I've never, lived in, right? Never been in for more than two
Hmm.
hours, honestly. And I'm just gonna get uncomfortable because nothing grows in the comfort zone. So
Yeah.
the move was it's great. I'm still getting used to it. It's definitely tough being away from my friends, getting a little homesick, but I know it's what's best for me and my personal growth.
Hmm. For sure. That's so exciting though. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's the
Yes.
saying. I don't know who I've heard that so many times. I don't know.
Chad or Jeff Bry.
Yeah, somebody
Yeah.
in our business. But how long is the manager position, or how long do you plan on holding that position for?
Great question. Right now it's a year. It's a year
A year.
contract.
Okay.
However, I love this. I can see myself doing it for several more years.
Wow.
So I can see myself doing it for 3 years, honestly. And if I love it, I'm gonna keep doing it. If I want something new, I'll get something new. But I can see myself doing this for a long time, just because a business doesn't grow in 1 year. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely. And I know last time we talked, it was December, so a few months ago, but you're attending college right now for small business, right? Business degree. Or did it change? Has it
I put a pause
changed?
on call.
Okay.
I I actually put a pause on college right now. Um,
Okay.
I decided to just completely take a leap and just to do this. And if I want to go back to college, I will. But
I love that.
I was studying business, and I honestly just thought that this would be the better opportunity to get the experience,
Yeah,
actually work in the field rather than just sitting in class reading about it. College isn't for everybody, and I think that I just found
for
my
sure.
path a different way. So right now I'm putting a pause on college. So
Yeah, I love that though. And I feel like a lot of the time people, they pick like a degree they want to go after or whatever, and then it's kind of like they're stuck with that, even if they kind of change their mind. They're like, "Oh, but I've come this far and I can't stop until I've gotten it." But then at that point, you might be going in the wrong direction. So don't be afraid to change your direction if you feel like that's what's right for you. It doesn't have to be what you chose in the first place. And this seems like such a good opportunity for you. Literally running your own office. How has it been, with the move and like finding an office and, moving all your things and just starting like a whole new chapter, it seems like.
yeah, definitely. It's like a new life now. I'm just
Yeah.
completely picked up and went off and just decided to do something brand new. The move in terms of finding an office and moving, not just my things for my apartment, but also for my office was a lot. But I've had so much support from my family, my friends, coworkers like Ethan and Brayden have helped tremendously with the whole moving process. I honestly would not have been able to do this if it weren't for them. At least I wouldn't be settled in right now. Let's just say that my mom, God bless her, she has helped so much. I mean, for about a week, she stayed with me the first week here, and she was just doing all the
Wow.
behind work. I said, "Hey, mom." She said, "How can I help you?" And I said, "Literally, just do anything that requires like just being a human, like doing laundry, making me food, right? Just being my mom, right?
Oh,
That way,
that's
I can
so cool.
focus on getting the office ready for training and getting ready for that." So honestly, I would have probably not have been eating. I probably would have been in dirty clothes, right, if it weren't for my
Yeah.
mom. So in terms of the moving, that the first couple weeks were very rough. I'm still adjusting. So I told someone earlier, I think I was on chat, my boss, and I told him, I was like, hey, yeah, things are great in the office right now, but my apartment, it still needs unpacked. So in terms of
Yeah.
my personal life besides the office, I need to get used to taking care of myself as well. So in
Yeah.
terms of adjusting, I need to focus on myself a little bit more rather than being married to my business, right? So
You have to find
but
a
yes,
balance
find
for
some kind
sure.
of a balance. But yeah, no, training's been going well. I have a very exciting rep I just had in training. His name is Caden Hewitt. He's already sold 3 grand. He's on a camping trip
Wow.
right now, and he's utilizing all the time he has, which I'm super proud of him. So
Yeah.
that's my exciting news in terms of business right now. We just opened up, so not a lot of exciting news, but that's my exciting news.
That's super exciting news. I
Yeah.
mean, you already have your first representatives out there in the field making money and instead of, being the one doing that, you're now in the position where you're sending people out and you're getting to train them and like that's a completely different place to be at. What were your like feelings the first time that you stepped into that office, like knowing like, wow, this is going to be my office. I'm going to have recruits in here that are going to be my recruits, you know?
Yeah, amazing question. So before I even got the office in my name or anything like that, when I was scouting for offices, as soon as I came into this office, I just knew. I was like, this is the office I want. I'm going to convince Chad that I can have it because you have to ask Chad for permission. And I was
Yeah.
like, I'm getting this, right? I'm going to try everything in my power to get this office. And I was already imagining, okay, here's where the TV is going to be. Here's where the tables are. This is my office. This is the, other room, right?
Yeah.
I was already imagining everything. And it felt so magical and so exciting. But then when I actually got it in my name and then finally came here with the U-Haul to unpack everything, I kind of just once everyone had left to go get food or something, I kind of just stood in the room and just thought, I was like, okay, this is real.
Oh
I
my
packed up
gosh.
and left my old life for this. This is real. This is how it's going to be.
Yeah.
And I was scared, but in the most exciting way possible. So that's how I knew I made the right decision in
Yep.
terms of moving.
Yep. A
Yeah.
scared excitement. That's so cool. I love how, it just kind of feels right. Sometimes you walk in there and you just kind of know, like that's where, I was gonna ask you too, like how was it figuring out like the layout of how everything in there is gonna be? Like where's the desk? Where am I gonna put the tables? Where are the chairs gonna go? And it seemed like it just kind of all clicked for you. That's
Oh
really
yeah.
awesome. So you have a sign in there that I really like, and I just wanted to you sent a picture of it. It's like a light up sign. It
Oh
says
yeah, yeah.
it's
It says just do it.
don't quit, just do it,
Oh,
right?
oh,
That's what it
don't,
says.
yeah. It says don't quit, do it. That's what it
Oh,
says.
yes. But anyway, I just
Yes.
wanted to say that because you sent a picture of that sign. I'm like, that is so cool. Like, as a representative walking into your office and you're, the trainer and you get to do all the training and stuff, and just having that sign up there every day that you go into training, especially in this business, I think it's because it's very self-motivating. You have to be very self-motivated and you have to be the person to get yourself out there and make yourself do the job. But I just really liked that sign when you sent that. I was like, oh my gosh, that is so cool. Like, where did you
I
find it?
love it.
Yeah.
Amazon. I
Oh,
knew
of
I needed it in
course.
my office because I always, as a sales rep, I always told myself, like, just do it, do it.
Hmm.
And I finally understood what Nike's logo, why it was so impactful to athletes, because athletes have to have discipline,
Just
right?
do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's not even just for the reps, it's for me too. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah, being reminded of that every single day, I have to hold myself at a standard. And I know that everybody in this business has to hold themselves accountable. Even,
Yeah.
Chad and Jeff Bry, if they don't do their job, we can't do our job.
Hmm.
They can't do their job. Right. So
Yeah.
it's for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I really like that sign. You find everything off Amazon.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
But that is really cool. How long has your office been open for?
Since the 24th of April.
Wow, it's so new. That is so cool.
Yes, yeah.
So exciting. And you said you have hired recruits. How many recruits have you hired so far?
In terms of successful recruits, last week's training was probably my most successful training.
Awesome.
So the one that I'm most excited about is just Caden. With that being said, I'm super excited with upcoming trainings. I've got kind of the kinks out, got more confident with what I can do, and people are out of finals and
Yeah.
more focused on summer work. So we'll have more exciting things to come
Yeah.
soon. Yeah.
How has, the training been? Because like before, going from how it was before being the trainee, how has that been transitioning to being the trainer and having people come in and look up to you in that way?
I will say, honestly, my whole life I've always had a passion for not just being a teacher, but leading, like a coach.
Hmm.
So it's always come natural to me to just be a coach to others, have people look up to me, in the most humble way possible. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And that's why I quit everything and decided to come here, because this
That's
is my
so cool.
passion. I love doing this. I've always wanted to do this. So in terms of how does it feel, it feels right.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. Were you
yeah.
nervous the first time?
Yes.
I mean,
I
I'm sure
I
you were.
wasn't yeah, I was a bit nervous, but it went away. So
Is there like a goal that you have for how many recruits you want to have over the summer or like by a certain time?
so in terms of goals, I'm not necessarily looking at like recruits like numbers or anything. I'm looking to have just the best people on my team and having a $350,000 year. That's like the highest goal I want to hit,
Yeah.
at least 250,000. But if we can do 350, that's the goal. But it's probably going to be a
Yeah.
250 year, and that's the quantitative goal that answers
Hmm.
your question.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, having those goals is super good and encouraging, your representatives when they go out and having that number because if you don't have a number, it's it's hard to really encourage yourself. But
yeah.
having that number can really help to encourage yourself to go out there and hit that. What would your advice be to the recruits that you get on your team before they go out and, try to get their first sale? What's your advice to them?
Number one piece of advice is believing in yourself because nobody else will if you don't.
That's such good advice.
Yeah, I
And
tell
it's so
everybody that.
true. Like you have to
Yeah,
have you can't rely on other people to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. Like it has to start with you and you have to be able to get that encouragement from yourself. It can't be from other people because other people they're going to come and they're going to go and
yeah.
yeah, they can encourage you and they can help you, but really you have to get that encouragement from yourself and you have to be able to believe in yourself. What would you say is the most or has been the most challenging part of opening up your own office?
Um, I'm my own boss now in terms of I own this place, and if I don't do well, my reps aren't going to do well. So I have to hold myself accountable. I don't have, Chad breathing down my neck anymore saying, do this, do that, which in a good way, not in a bad way.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
appreciated, his
Hmm.
encouragement. But I don't have that in my ear much anymore. We have daily meetings, but
Hmm.
other than that, it's up to me. If I don't do it, nothing
Yeah.
happens. If I don't, so just holding myself accountable, that's definitely the biggest struggle I've had thus far. But that being, I'm young and trying to create a life. I'm sure that everybody goes through this, especially being a
Hmm.
young business owner.
Oh yeah.
So, I'm the boss now. I got to keep reminding myself that now. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely very different. You're the one that, they'll go to now. You're the one that um has to be, I guess, the accountable one. Like you have to be there and you can't have anyone holding you accountable for, you have to be there at this time. You're your own boss at this point and you have to be able to hold your people accountable as well as yourself, of course. Um, how how is it, being able to have your own team and being able to be the encouraging person that go like that can encourage them when you're in training and stuff. Like, just if you could put it into one word, like, how does that all feel? Being the boss, being the person that gets to encourage them and show them that they can be so much more. Because I remember when I first started, and when you first started, and when a lot of the people on our team first started, there was this like kind of this moment that we all had where we just realized like, wow, we can do so much more than we realized we could. And how is it, being the person that can show these new recruits that they can be that they can be more than they thought they could.
It's definitely a lot of pressure in terms of am I saying the right things? Because to me, and even to you, to the other managers, it's like, you just do the work, you'll get there, right? We know
Yep.
that because we've been
Hmm.
here for this long. We've seen the results. I've won, trips, gone to Mexico, right? So I know that if you just do it, you'll get it. That's why I have that sign out there, just do it. But when they're brand new, have no idea what they're about to do,
Yeah.
they're scared, they're nervous, and I'm sitting here saying like, "Oh, you're good." I have to instill some kind of belief in them. So I that's the biggest thing that I need to work on is in terms of painting a picture for them. Right now,
Yeah.
I need to work on that. I would need to work on my painting skills, I guess you would say. So
Yeah, making a like a an a vivid image for them, or something that they can see, like they can go after, because starting in this business, it's kind of hard to see. Like, it's kind of hard to see where it can go. And we've been in it for a while. So to us, we know where it can go. But to show that to someone who's never seen it before, I can understand how that would be definitely something challenging. Like, you have to find a way to help them to see it, and help them to really want to go after it for themselves. Because if they don't have that drive, it's like you can't give them the drive. They have to have that themselves. But you can definitely encourage them, which is really cool. And you always encouraged me, even when we were in the office. I think you always kind of stepped up and took like a bit of a leadership role, even in our office before, which was really cool. So I think your office is going to do really great this summer. But what's something?
thank you, I appreciate that.
Of course. I mean, you were always one of the top sales representatives in our office. You always came in with a smile. Like we said in our last episode, you were always into positive thinking, and you definitely showed that, and even encouraged the rest of the team to be positive. And you're not always going to make the sale, but that doesn't mean, to shut down or be upset. You have to get right back up and go to the next sale. Or it's just like what when they say, like, if you ride a horse, if you fall off, you have to get right back up and get back on. Like, you can't give up. And you were kind of always the person to push the rest of the team to be that way. So I think your office is going to do really great, and I'm really excited to see all of that.
Yeah.
But so you have all these like new reps. What is something, because I know this is for a lot of people, this is just their summer job. They're attending college, a lot of them, so they do this over the summer or they do it part-time. What would be something that you would want them to take out of this job? Like, if they work just for the summer, what would be something that you don't want them to forget?
Skills. I
Skills?
mean, I always tell them you're your greatest asset. So you might as well, invest in yourself. So if they're not getting skills from this job, I'm doing something wrong. So that's the number one thing I want them to take with them, that and some memories and some friends. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that is really cool. And I think we all definitely got memories. We all definitely got friends for sure. I consider you a friend.
You as well, obviously.
Yeah, and I'm excited. So, by the way, I totally forgot to mention this. This is gonna be, guys, this is gonna be a two-part episode, because at the end of the summer, we're gonna do another episode, and we're gonna talk about how the summer went. We're gonna talk about how, this is the beginning of the summer. Amy, you just opened your office. We're talking about it from fresh, just opened. You're just getting your recruits. Everything is new. So at the end of the summer, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about how everything went, how the recruits went, how the numbers went, how you're feeling at the end of the summer now. I'm sure, you're probably a little nervous. You're going into your first summer as the district manager, and that's super, super exciting. And I'm really glad that you took that step, even though you had had other goals before, you had had other plans before. You weren't afraid to change that just because that's what you had wanted before. And I think a lot of people, like I said, they get stuck in that and they just go after what they had wanted before. But your mind can change and you can end up wanting something different. But I think it's really cool that you're just going after what you want right now. And so I love that. Um, what is the best piece of advice that you have ever gotten? It's
I
a
can't.
hard question.
Can I say a bad word?
Can you?
Cut that part out if I can.
Maybe, maybe not.
Okay, okay. I'll say it. If you need to cut it out, you can. Okay.
Okay.
Um, my dad and my mom always told me don't have something,
Okay.
and that can I say that?
Yeah.
That is the best piece of advice I've ever gotten my entire life. Just because ever since I heard that, ever since they were beating it into me, right? I just, would do
Yeah.
everything to my full potential. And also, my mom always told me just, do what's right and do what you want to do.
I
That
really
is
like that.
right. So just,
Yeah.
I know it's simple, but that's the best piece of advice I had growing up, just because it turned me into the person I am. And that's not going to work for everybody, but for me, it did. Growing up on the farm, the honest work we had to do, that helped me. And I would not be here right now if I quote unquote have my way to this position. I would not be here right now. So, yeah, that's my advice.
That's really, it's very simple. Like you said, it is very simple, but I really like it because, you don't want to go into something just half trying because you're never going to get the outcome that you want like that. You're never, you have to go in it all the way. You can't go with the expectation of this is my expectation, but I'm only gonna put half my effort there because that expectation is never gonna happen. You have to go in all the way. But I think we're like almost finished up here. So I have one more thing.
Yeah, Brayden.
We have another is he going for district manager as well?
He's a
Or is
branch
he
manager. He's
branch manager? Okay.
sharing the office with me right now.
Yeah, so Amy and Braden,
Well,
he'll be in here in a second. They are sharing an office in Kentucky. Hey, Braden. So Braden's
like,
doing the branch manager. That is manager for the summer. So this is a really cool thing that Cutco has. You open up a summer branch office and you get to open the office. It's literally your own business. You hire your recruits, you train them, you send them out to do the sales, and then at the end of the summer, you close your office. So, Braden, how has it been getting to open the office and going through that whole experience and going through the training and stuff? Just how was it, your first time training new recruits?
It was really awesome. Luckily, I'm not good enough to have Amy here to help me out, so
Amy's
that's
pretty
always
great, yeah.
nice. But now being able to open a business for 2 months and make it a good income, and then be able to go back and sell, it's really awesome. The opportunity that they give you here at Cutco.
It is really awesome. And were you very nervous to open your own office and have like your own recruits and obviously change from being, like I talked to Amy about this a bit earlier, from being the trainee, the person who comes in and you get the training and then you go out and how is it from going from that to now you're the trainer and you have these people who look up to you and who go to you for the questions?
Oh, I mean, it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
You don't ever expect it. I've only been here for about a year now at this point,
Hmm.
so going into management, it was very, very fast. I say that.
Hmm.
But it's also really nice because I've always been the type of person that, and I was an athlete. I wanted to be a coach one day. Still a goal of mine in the future. So I love training people and being able to help them and make them the best versions of themselves.
Yeah, that's really great. And that's something that I thought was really cool about, when I started, I got to see all these different reps come, and some of them, stayed longer. Some of them went, like a lot of these people are in college and stuff, but you get to see them kind of transform from just the way that they hold themselves because they kind of they just start to realize that they can do so much more than they thought, which is what I said earlier too, which is really cool. And now you're getting to be in that position where you can show these people what their potential can be. What by the end of the summer, what would you like the outcome to be like for you? What would you like to take out of this summer?
What I'd like to get from the summer, I would like to grow my team pretty well, thank you. I would like to grow my team, have a big team. I would like to bring a lot of people to our SC2 conference, SC1.
Yeah.
Also, I'd like to have a 100K branch.
Okay.
That was the goal at the start of the summer.
How many recruits do you have right now?
I have three
Awesome.
We're in the
Well,
building
Brayden,
in the
process
building
still.
process, but yeah.
building process. Well, you
Yeah.
got to start somewhere, and you guys are fresh. Your offices have just opened, and it sounds like you guys are both doing really great. Brayden, I'd love to have you back on here too at the end of the summer. We can talk about how your office went and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish you guys the best of luck this summer, and I can't wait to see how your offices do. I'm sure you guys are both going to do a really great job, and good luck, and thank you guys so much for being on here.
Yeah, thank you so
Thank you for
much.
having
It's
us.
always a pleasure. I love being on these.
Yeah, of course. Guys, leave your comments down below. Subscribe, share, and if you have any questions for Amy or Brayden, maybe about Cutco, or maybe you're kind of getting a little interested in what this job is, let us know and we can definitely let you know, answer all your questions for you guys. And we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
When you think you know someone, but you never really had a clue.